Wilson had been hearing his own voice in nightmares for 20 years. He had given the order to burn the village. When the Afghan child at his door recognized him, there was death in his eyes, and he whispered, "My family was in that village." From which city around the world are you watching this video today? Write it in the comments. And if you believe stories of past shadows deserve to be told, don't forget to subscribe. Retired Sergeant Richard Wilson, 58 years old, living in Colorado Springs, lived alone. After returning from Afghanistan in 2004, his life had never been the same. PTSD, night terrors, constant anxiety. But the worst was the same nightmare, repeating every night. The nightmare was always the same scene. Helmand Province, Afghanistan, a small village. November 2003. Wilson's voice could be heard over the radio. Burn the village. All of it. No survivors. Every night he woke up in sweat, still hearing the echo of his own voice. 20 years had passed, but that voice wouldn't leave his head. Wilson's house was in the suburbs of Colorado Springs. Small, single story, with a garden. He didn't talk much with neighbors. He only met with his old friend Tom Jenkins. Tom was also an Afghanistan veteran. Tom often visited Wilson. He was worried about his old friend's condition. "Rich, are you still having the same nightmares?" Wilson nodded. "Every night, Tom, as if that day happened yesterday. You should see a doctor. You should get PTSD treatment." Wilson objected. "Doctors won't understand me. They don't know what happened in that village." Tom was curious. "What happened in that village? You never told the details." Wilson's face darkened. "I can't tell, Tom. Some things are not spoken." The truth was that Wilson couldn't tell anyone what happened in that village, because what happened was a war crime, and Wilson was the one who gave the orders. In 2003, Wilson was the commander of Alpha Company. According to intelligence reports, Taliban fighters were hiding in the village. The operation order was clear: clean the village, neutralize enemy fighters. But when they arrived at the village, what Wilson saw was different from the reports. The village mostly had civilians, women, children, elderly. Were there Taliban fighters? Maybe a few, but the majority were innocent civilians. Wilson experienced indecision. High command was pressuring. The village had to be cleaned. No risks should be taken. Wilson made the difficult decision: burn the village. Everyone must go. That order killed 47 civilians. 12 of them were children. Wilson had been carrying this truth inside for 20 years. In official reports, the incident was recorded as a Taliban operation, but Wilson knew the truth. In October 2024, Wilson's life was turned upside down again. New refugee families were being settled in Colorado Springs. Afghan families had sought asylum in America. Wilson was uncomfortable with this situation. Afghan refugees made him uneasy. They reminded him of his past. On a Saturday morning, while Wilson was drinking his coffee in the garden, the doorbell rang. When he opened it, he saw a middle-aged Afghan man, his wife, and an 8-year-old child. The man tried to speak English. "Hello, sir. We are new neighbors. I am Ahmad. This is my wife Fatima and son Khalil." Wilson was uncomfortable. "Hello, I'm Wilson." Ahmad smiled. "We bring gift, traditional Afghan bread." Wilson took the bread package. "Thank you, but I don't have much time." Just as he was about to close the door, the little child Khalil looked at him. The child's eyes seemed to recognize Wilson. Khalil said something to his father in Pashto. Ahmad's face changed. Ahmad looked at Wilson. "My son says he knows you." Wilson was surprised. "Impossible. I never met him." Khalil spoke again, this time with a more determined voice. Ahmad translated. "He says he saw you in his dreams." Wilson was uncomfortable. "This is nonsense." "Good day." He closed the door but was in unease. There was something familiar in the child's eyes. That night, Wilson's nightmares intensified, but this time there was something different. In his dream, he was seeing little Khalil's face. In the dream, Wilson was in that village again. He was giving orders over the radio: burn the village. But this time, he saw Khalil in the village. The child was looking at him, crying. Wilson woke up in sweat. The child is just a neighbor. It must be a coincidence. But he had the same dream the next night, and the next night. Khalil kept appearing in his dreams. A week later, while Wilson was returning from the market, he encountered Khalil. The child was sitting alone in the park. Wilson approached. "Hey kid, are you okay?" Khalil looked at him, and Wilson's blood froze. There was something in the child's eyes, a mixture of fear, anger, sadness. Khalil spoke in Pashto. Wilson didn't know Pashto, but he felt uncomfortable with the child's tone. "What did you say?" Khalil repeated, this time clearer. Wilson didn't understand, but there was accusation in the child's voice. Wilson returned home, uneasy and confused. That evening he called Tom Jenkins. Tom, I need your help. What happened, Rich? My new neighbors are Afghan refugees. Their child is acting strange. He seems to know me. Wilson explained the situation. Tom was worried. Rich, this could be a symptom of PTSD. The shadows of the past are following you, but the child is real, Tom, and he knows me. Tom tried to calm Wilson. The child doesn't know you. You're just under the influence of your dreams. But there was something Wilson couldn't get out of his mind. The expression in Khalil's eyes, as if he had known Wilson for a long time. The next day, Wilson gathered his courage and went to Ahmad's house. Ahmad opened the door. Hello, Mr. Wilson. Please come in. Ahmad, I want to talk about your son, Khalil. Ahmad's face became serious. Yes, Khalil talks about you. What does he say? Ahmad hesitated. He says he remembers you from Afghanistan. Wilson's heart stopped. That's impossible. I never met him there. Ahmad gestured for him to sit. Mr. Wilson, can I ask you something? Were you soldier in Afghanistan? Wilson nodded. Yes, 2003, 2004. Ahmad took a deep breath. Which province? Wilson's voice trembled. Helmand. Ahmad's eyes filled. We are from Helmand, too. Wilson's body tensed. Which village? Ahmad didn't answer, but Khalil entered the room. The child hesitated when he saw Wilson. Khalil said something long to his father in Pashto. As Ahmad listened to the child's words, his face gradually darkened. Ahmad turned to Wilson. Mr. Wilson, my son says things that I cannot understand. What kind of things? He says he remembers fire. He remembers American soldiers. He remembers a man giving orders on radio. Wilson's hands began to tremble. What village are you from? Ahmad slowly answered. Kalina village. Wilson's world collapsed. Kalina, that was the name of that village. The village he burned. But Khalil was only 8 years old. He wasn't born in 2003. Wilson stammered. But Khalil is only 8. He wasn't born in 2003. Ahmad's eyes filled with tears. He was not born then, but his older brother was. Wilson froze. Older brother? Yes. Khalil is named after his brother. His brother died in fire in 2003. Wilson jumped up. I have to go. But Ahmad continued. Mr. Wilson, there is something else. Wilson had headed to the door but stopped. What? Khalil says he hears voice in his head. American voice. Giving orders to burn village. Wilson's breath was cut off. The child was hearing his own voice. Ahmad continued. He says, same man who gave orders is now here. You. Wilson's legs were trembling. This is impossible, is it? Ahmad approached Wilson. My first son Khalil was 7 years old when he died. He loved life. He played every day until American soldiers came. Wilson closed his eyes. I'm sorry. Ahmad's voice hardened. Are you sorry? Or are you the one who gave orders? Wilson couldn't answer. Ahmad had understood the truth. Khalil approached Wilson and said something in Pashto. This time Ahmad didn't translate, but Wilson understood. Wilson looked at Ahmad. What did he say? Ahmad's voice trembled. He said his brother's soul is not at peace because man who killed him is still alive. Wilson ran home. Tom was waiting at home. Rich, what happened? Your face is pale. Tom, something terrible. That family is from the village I burned. Tom was surprised. What? Wilson told everything. Tom couldn't believe it. Rich, this can't be a coincidence. It's not Tom. The child hears my voice in his dreams. Maybe the child is experiencing traumatic stress. No, Tom, this is something different. That night Wilson couldn't sleep at all, but when he slept, the dream he saw changed everything. In his dream, he was in Kalawana village, but this time he was just an observer. A 7-year-old child was playing in the village. Kalawa, the old Kala. Wilson watched the child. How happy, how innocent he was. Then American soldiers came. Wilson saw himself at the radio. He heard his own voice. Burn the village. Old Khalil was trying to escape, but the flames caught him. As the child took his last breath, he looked at Wilson. That look woke Wilson up. The expression in the child's eyes was exactly like the new Khalil's. Wilson now understood. New Khalil carried the soul of old Khalil, and this soul was seeking revenge. The next morning when Wilson went to the door, Khalil was there, alone, standing silently. Wilson opened the door. What do you want? Khalil spoke in English this time. You killed my brother. Wilson trembled. You can't remember that. You weren't born. Khalil smiled, but there was coldness in his eyes. I remember everything. Fire, screams, your voice. Wilson's voice wouldn't come out. Khalil continued. My brother wants justice. Wilson fell to his knees. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry is not enough. Khalil approached Wilson. My brother says you must pay. Wilson started crying. What do you want from me? Khalil's eyes changed. He was no longer an 8-year-old child, but like an old soul. You will live with pain, like we lived with fire. From that moment on, Wilson's life turned into hell. Khalil started coming every day, sometimes alone, sometimes with his family. But every time he reminded Wilson of something, Wilson was afraid to complain to neighbors, because his own guilt would be revealed. Sometimes Khalil would sit in Wilson's garden, silently watching him. Sometimes Sometimes he would look inside through the house window. He wouldn't let Wilson sleep. A month later, Wilson was about to go crazy. He called Tom. Tom, help me. The child is following me. Rich, this is paranoid. The child isn't doing anything to you. He is Tom. He's punishing me. Tom decided to take Wilson to a doctor, but Wilson refused. One night while Wilson was sitting at home, Khalil knocked on the window. When Wilson opened the door, the child was crying. Please help me. Wilson was surprised. What's wrong? Khalil's voice changed. My brother is angry. He wants revenge. Wilson asked fearfully. What kind of revenge? Khalil looked at Wilson. He wants you to feel fire, like he felt. That night, Wilson couldn't sleep. When he slept toward morning, he had a terrible dream. His house was burning. He was trapped inside, just like old Khalil had experienced. When he woke up, he noticed the house really smelled of smoke. He ran to the kitchen. The stove was on, but who had turned it on? Wilson turned off the stove, but was scared. This couldn't be a coincidence. The next day, Ahmed knocked on Wilson's door. Mr. Wilson, we need to talk. Ahmed came inside. Khalil is changing. He talks about revenge, about fire. Wilson had to explain. Your son is haunted by his brother's spirit. Ahmad nodded. I know. And spirit is angry. What can we do? Ahmad looked seriously. You must make peace with my dead son. How? You must go to mosque. Ask forgiveness from Allah and from Allah's soul. Wilson wasn't Muslim, but was desperate. Will that help? Maybe, if your repentance is sincere. That day, Wilson went to the mosque with Ahmad. The imam listened to the situation and told Wilson to pray. Wilson called out to Khalil's soul. I'm sorry. I made terrible mistake. Please forgive me. When they left the mosque, Khalil was there, but this time he looked different, more peaceful. Khalil approached Wilson. My brother heard you. Wilson asked. Hopefully. Is he at peace now? Khalil nodded. He forgives you, but you must live with memory. Wilson accepted. I will remember always. Khalil smiled. This time it was a real child's smile. My brother says goodbye. From that day on, Wilson's nightmares decreased. Khalil still came, but not for revenge anymore, for friendship. Wilson became close to the Afghan family. He helped Ahmed learn English. He bought toys for Khalil. One day, Khalil asked Wilson, do you still have bad dreams? Wilson thought, sometimes, but now I dream of making peace. Khalil put his hand on Wilson's hand. My brother is happy now. He wants you to be happy too. This story teaches us this. The sins of the past follow us, but true repentance and asking for forgiveness can heal the soul. Wilson lived with guilt for 20 years, but when he encountered Khalil's family, he faced the truth and asked for forgiveness. Sometimes our biggest enemies are our own guilt, and salvation comes only by accepting the truth. If you liked this story, don't forget to subscribe. We're here for stories of confronting the shadows of the past.